Now let's talk about a movie we weren't going to see, but then it came to streaming.
And we're like, let's see it.
Let's see it now.
Right?
Let's see it now.
Let's see it now.
I watched it this afternoon.
Let's become instant experts on this particular franchise.
Correct.
And just,
I think I'm going to cover it for Never Go Back and be like, we'll look at it.
Oh, the original video game.
Yes,
Okay,
but
sure.
only exclusively at bigsandwich.co.
Oh, you devil.
Thank you.
You devil.
Anyway, it's the spookiest time of the year, and it's not tax time.
It is.
It is in some places. Some places it isn't, though.
Is this your new twist? Because you mentioned earlier you were becoming disillusioned.
No, I just
with
kind
the
of
bit.
lost my way.
Okay.
Both in life and during that sentence.
It's
Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yeah.
which is the long-anticipated adaptation of the video game.
a video game movie.
Whoa!
Is it going to break the video game curse?
I know, but a budget of $20 million.
Nice.
Over the 3-day US weekend, it's expected to make $78 million, and it also simultaneously released on Peacock and probably other streaming
I think maybe
platforms
it's
around
made
the
more
world.
than that already.
Yeah, it probably is. I think that was an estimated.
I think it's made.
tally.
I think it's like $100 million. At this
Surprised
point.
me. It's also impressive considering it did come to streaming.
Yeah, true.
And the reviews are like, they're not great.
No, I mean, no, I saw that as very much as a point of contention. This is
Yeah.
one of those movies, I think, where the people have gone, well, critics say this, but actually the fans have all,
Yeah.
the fans have been waiting, for
But also, like, what are you doing with this?
what do you mean?
Like, what do you make out of this game?
That's true, yeah.
Like, I think there's a lot of stuff added to this because you need to.
Well, here's the thing about it. So my exposure to Five Nights at Freddy's, I've never played it, the original game, but I watched
Here we go. This will be good.
I know, right? I watched a Halloween YouTube stream of it a couple of years ago. And the premise of the game, for people who don't know, is you are a security guard at a place called Freddy Fazbear's, which is like a
Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese style pizzeria, and you're the night watchman. Why would you need a night watchman? Well, because at night the animatronic animals that are in the band, they come to life and they want to murder everyone.
Yes.
So it's your job is you're in a security booth and you have to open and close various doors to prevent the animatronics from getting to you. But every time you close a door, it uses electricity and you only have a limited amount of power and you have to conserve your power. And if you lose all the power before dawn, which is when you leave, you can't close the doors anymore and they come and murder you.
Yes.
And they murder you because they think you're an animatronic without a costume on, like an outer skin on.
So they squish you
So
into
they
one.
grab you and they stuff you in one and you die.
Yeah.
And if you're like, well, that seems fairly simple. Initially it is, but as I understand
lore
it,
develops.
there's been many subsequent games. There's additional Nights at Freddy's. There's additional Freddy Fazbear's locations. There's been additional games and books and
There's a movie.
there's a movie they did called Five Nights at Freddy's. There's
2023.
Willy's Wonderland, which is a different movie,
Yes.
but it has very similar elements. There's, of course, the Chuck E. Cheese franchise, which was created by the guy who created Atari.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Nolan Bushnell? Or the other guy? It doesn't matter. Anyway.
Or another man.
And maybe it was a
It's
different
that
guy.
man or another man.
Maybe it was an unrelated guy. Anyway, but there's so much lore
Yeah.
now. There's been so much subsequent material about why the animatronics act like they do and the people, the characters
There's
behind
actually
it.
a supernatural element to
The
it. as opposed
origins
to,
of the origins of all the characters in it and how they relate to each other, and there's all these mysteries. If anything, there was way too much to put into one movie.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So-
Cohesively.
Yes.
Yeah, so they strip away a lot of that, or some of it at the very least. This is Emma Tammy's movie. She's done a bunch of small indie horror stuff, including Blood Moon and The Wind, both of which are apparently very good. But what do you think the story was
come
before
on,
we do
mate.
that? Before we do that.
All right, Lil Josh Hutcherson.
He's back.
He's back. Well, he was in the Hunger Games and probably
We're
other stuff.
currently talking Hunger Games.
That's exactly right. But he's back, and he's a little guy who just can't get it together. He's always beating people up in public.
He's a dreamer.
He's a dream, yeah, because he's had a traumatic past.
Yeah.
And it's just him and his little sister living together, and they're like, you get a job. If you don't want to lose custody of your little sister, you got to get a good job. And he's like, well, I'll get a job at Freddy Fazbear's.
Fine,
as the
I'll
night
get a
watchman.
job.
Fine, I'll get a job.
Matthew Lillard, can I have a job?
He's
Matthew
like,
Lillard
yeah.
says yes.
You want a garbage job? And he's like, yes.
Yes.
Anyway, he goes to Freddy Fazbear's.
Yep.
And meets some colourful characters, and
Some of them are nice sometimes.
some of them are murder robots.
Some of them are murder robots, yeah.
And it all unfolds.
I got to say, I don't know much about this.
Yeah, same.
A lot of the research I did was like this afternoon for like how much of this is from the games.
Yeah, right.
This borrows a lot from the third game, apparently, like the supernatural elements of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really like a fan of the source material. I don't care what they changed.
Mm.
But what did work for me was I think a lot of the stuff that they did change, like Josh Hutchinson's character and the weird dream element, because his brother got kidnapped, so he's trying to like dream a certain way so we can remember what happened to his brother. Hello, Zippy or Ollie, one of them.
This one's Ollie.
This one's Ollie.
Hello, Ollie.
You just come in to sneeze.
Oh, you come in for a big sneeze. Oh, big sneeze. Good work, buddy. I'm very impressed by the sneezes, Ollie.
And I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah, right.
And so that's the stuff that kind of worked for me in this. I think honestly, like the human element of this, I think is it's better than it needs to be.
Okay.
In a movie like this. But in terms of a horror movie, it's all right. I think it's good for like, it's a good starter kind of younger kids horror movie. I
mean, that's it.
Like
isn't
a
it?
Goosebumps.
Like, I think a lot of kids have been waiting for a big screen adaptation of their favorite game
now they're
for a
adults.
long time. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I think that's that is a big contributor to the box office here and the good user reviews. There's a lot of people have been waiting for this for a really long time. You know what? I felt like some of the characters were kind of inconsistent. There's a supporting character who's like, hey, let's have fun in this pizza parlor.
Yeah.
And then later this character's like, what were you doing in the pizza parlor?
You said have fun.
You said have fun. What are you doing?
You said that.
You said that.
You're right, yeah. No, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, so there's like this movie has it's Josh Hutcherson and the little sister, and then we've got a local police officer.
She's from You.
The TV show You.
Yeah,
okay,
the
right.
first season. And then she's in multiple others. Bits and pieces.
And we've got some local
Elizabeth Lale.
Yeah, and just some sort of local youths, and that's about it. It's a fairly small cast.
It is.
There's a woman who wants she wants custody.
Child.
She wants custody of the little girl for some reason that I can't recall.
For money.
For money. There it is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. That's right. And I also just wanted to mention that before I talk about the animatronics in this. So do you know how this game started? So I'm just going to read this.
No, please.
And then we'll just. But I know a lot of people know this.
Okay.
Right? But this is for you and you alone.
Okay, great.
The idea of Five Nights at Freddy stemmed from the negative reaction to Scott Cawthorne's previous game, the family-friendly Chipper and Sons Lumber Co. Players said that the main character, a young beaver, looked like a scary animatronic animal, and reviewer Jim Sterling, who's now James Stephanie Sterling, I believe, who has her own YouTube channel, called the game unintentionally terrifying. Initially discouraged by the criticism, Cawthorne, who had previously primarily developed Christian-orientated games, eventually used the feedback to make something intentionally scarier. So this started as like...
Spite.
You just sucks and you made a weird thing.
Yeah, right,
and he went, well, I'll show you a weird thing.
Yeah, he's a weird thing.
And I think one of the things also this movie does well is the live-action animatronics. And it mostly is animatronics. It's Jim Henson's workshop.
Oh, so this isn't CGI?
Some of it definitely is.
Yeah, right.
But really effective animatronics and people in suits and robotics, and I think that stuff is really like feels one-to-one.
Yeah, right.
Game,
I mean, I didn't personally find them particularly because they don't talk, obviously. But I didn't find them particularly memorable. But I'm sure a lot of people were like,
a lot
"Oh,
of them
I'd love
have
to
like
see
personalities and they kill in different ways, and some are more aggressive than others. But I couldn't tell you which specifically.
Yeah, like I can
like that.
Like I could point out Freddy, I guess, from a lineup, but the other ones I'm like, okay.
Did you like the little cake one?
Loved it. Yep.
Loved it.
Also, like I feel like for a movie that has a lot of lore, behind it, and you can sort of pick and choose what stuff you want to use in this or what you want to ignore or what have you. I felt like it was a little. I feel like maybe even Willy's Wonderland did better in terms of establishing what the rules are for these sort of things. Like there needs to be an explanation, I think, as to why they can't just destroy them, or if you don't have a security guard in there, what happens?
They get out?
Well, can they? Because they can leave apparently, but why don't they just? Because there's a scene later where one of them's
in a cab.
In a cab, but there's also one in a house later, and it's like, okay, so do they regularly escape?
Yeah.
Why aren't they running rampant through the town and killing people like that? Because they have a goal in mind.
Yeah.
But why do they stick around if they can leave and maybe they can run around at night? Why wouldn't they? Why doesn't?
I'd love to run around at night.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and the idea behind Josh Hutcherson's character, who might be named Brody, it's not important, but I'm going to call him Brody. He is the security guard because apparently the owner of the place, even though it's defunct and nobody goes there anymore.
Schmidt.
Like I said, Brody.
Yeah.
The owner doesn't want to let it go. So it's still around. But I kind of feel like why doesn't there's murders?
Yeah.
But they're not being investigated.
Yep.
Like there was in Willy's Wonderland, if you recall, there were a bunch of murders of kids. Oh, okay, you didn't see it. But I think everybody was in on it.
Yeah, okay.
Like the townsfolk.
It was a local curse thing that everybody.
Yeah, and the townsfolk were in on it and that sort of thing. So if you came from out of town and you got sacrificed, it was just like, well, we don't know. But in this, it's like, is nobody investigating?
Piling up in there.
I mean, look, without spoil, we'll get into spoilers in a minute. But at the end of this movie, you'd be like, there'd be people in the town going, what happened to that person?
Yeah.
And this person, why? You know, I feel like maybe the downfall of this movie is you're not supposed to think about it until after you've left.
Yeah.
Your
living room to talk about it on a podcast.
Exactly. And then we get them. We got them. They'll never do a sequel after this because we got them so good.
Let's do spoilers.
Okay,
so
great.
Best movie ever, worst movie ever. I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I think some of the criticisms that I'm seeing, I'm like, I feel like if you're not a fan of the series, don't worry about it, maybe. But like, if you are a fan, I don't know, is this enough for people? I don't.
Well, I would love to know that.
I also think, honestly.
I also think that some of the law has been changed for this. So I'm not. There's only. I can tell you, there's one specific example that I'll talk about in a second because I looked it up. That seems to differ from the game, and I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering if you, as an audience member, you're like, why did they it's like superhero movies or whatever. It's like, are you mad that they changed it, or do you just love that it's on screen at this point?
Also, just a couple of things.
It's also gorier than I would.
That's what I was going to say. There's a moment a girl gets bitten in half.
Yeah,
and you don't see it like it's mostly just shadow, but you see like the legs fall to the ground. And I think the sound design is really good as well. I think they get all the creepy kind of vibes of the game, of what I know of this game, which is not much.
It's all about the sound.
It's very atmospheric. I found.
Look, I'm going to say best movie ever. I wouldn't. If I'd never seen it, I don't think it would. I wouldn't always wonder.
No,
but I'm
more compelled to see Willy's Wonderland after this, though, to be like, what's the difference between these and how does that compare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I'll say that I like Josh Hutcherson's performance in this as the main guy, but if I had to pick a performance to watch over again, it'd be Nicolas Cage. Just being a weirdo.
It's been a weird
guy. Fact, maybe I'll watch it tonight.
Maybe you will.
But yeah, look, I'll say best movie ever.
Sure.
I'm glad.
Again, as a kid's horror movie especially.
If this is what the people wanted, the big fans of this series and all the lore and et cetera, if this is what they wanted, I'm glad they got it.
And if it isn't too bad.
Yeah. Now
you know what it's like to be us.
Yeah.
And be constantly disappointed.
Now you know what it's like to watch Greenland 2011 when it came out. Be like, oh, what? No. They were just getting good, these sort of movies.
Sort of. Some of them were. Anyways, the twist is, spoilers, Matthew Lillard is actually the Five Nights at Freddy creator, and he's a child kidnapper. And not only is he kidnapping child, and their ghosts are now controlling the animatronics, which he leads to kill people for some reason.
He also killed Josh Hutcherson's brother.
And he shouldn't have done that.
I think that's a crime, actually.
I think it's a crime, too, depending on the state of mind.
And if it's not, I reckon it's morally in a grey area.
It's I think
to kidnap a child and murder them.
Frowned upon at the very least.
Yeah. So the idea behind this is, so this guy killed a bunch. He killed at least Josh Hutcherson's Brody's brother.
Yeah.
And then he killed 5 kids. He started the Freddy Fazbear's. He killed 5 kids, and then the police suspected it was him.
Yeah.
But they went and they searched through Freddy Fazbear's pizza parlor. They didn't find the 5 kids, but that's because the kids were stuffed inside the...
What are you doing?
That's the first place I'd look.
Obviously they're in that.
Yeah. There's 5 kids and there's 5 of those.
Yep.
And they've got blood coming out of them, quite frankly.
One of the kids is still screaming in there.
That's right.
Pay attention.
Yeah. But where does the magic come in? So
that's a great question.
Okay.
Also, this is the 3rd game. Apparently, this is where the lore comes from.
The
ghost kids.
The kids were stuffed inside the animatronics, which magically enables them, even after their deaths, to move the animatronics around.
And they go, ooh.
But they've forgotten that the owner of Freddy Fazbear's killed them.
Yeah.
So they do what he wants them to do, which is kill people.
Or kill.
But also they want more friends.
They want
Is that why
friends.
is that why they want to kill? They want to kill
The little girl.
Brody's sister and stuff her in a
Freddy suit.
In a Freddy suit, so they have another friend, right?
Yeah.
But she realizes that they like drawings, and she can tell them
Things through drawings.
So she, at the end, she draws a picture of the Freddy Fazbear's guy killing the kids, and then they go, "Oh, I get it."
That's right.
And then they
Matthew Lillard,
beat him up.
the killer from Scream 1.
That's right.
Who's still going to come back in further Screams, I feel.
Yeah. Anyway, they beat him up.
Yeah, but what was the law you were talking about, which is changed?
Oh, so he's in the yellow rabbit suit.
Okay.
And I'm like, is that the revelation in the games that it's this guy? But it's a completely different guy.
Oh, okay.
It's just a different
guy.
Because I guess they needed more animatronics for the subsequent games.
Sure, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I've just got a review here while you're doing that. But
Okay.
Vinton says the suits for the animatronics were so well done that it was hard. That at sometimes I had a hard time telling if I was watching a suit or CGI. They picked the perfect suit texture that animates well too. Best movie ever. Yeah, I agree. Again, I agree. I think the suits.
So
are
so here's the yellow rabbit.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm at the Freddy Fazbear's fandom page.
You would be.
Five Nights at Freddy's. Spring Bonnie, the yellow rabbit, is the main antagonist of Into the Pit, the first story of the book of the same name. He is a demonic entity created by Eleanor.
Oh my god!
And Eleanor doesn't have a clickable link, so I don't know who Eleanor is.
Yeah, suspicious.
He's a rabbit, blah, blah, blah. Spring Bonnie, Oswald. Spring Bonnie appears during one of Oswald's visits to the pizza place in the past through the ball pit at Jeff's Pizza.
You're just saying names of people.
Something. Spring Bonnie seems to impersonate Oswald's father.
What?
Yeah, then Oswald sneaks off to Jeff's Pizza. Spring Bonnie and Oswald begin to fight.
What?
Yeah, with Oswald getting a few good punches in.
That's good.
Right?
That's cool.
Spring Bonnie manages to bite into Oswald's arm with his unhinged fanged jaw. Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a big page about speculation, about what the deal is, and there's a lot of links.
Can't with this, Mason.
No.
I just can't.
Balloon children? I don't know. But anyway, he's not dead, so presumably he'll be back in the sequel. I don't know.
He's somewhat dead. He can be a ghost anyway. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah, because we've established vague magic rules.
Do you like how the suits clamp onto you properly?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it seems dangerous.
Yeah, so does the mask that comes down on your face
Yeah.
and it's filled with buzzsaws.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
wouldn't put that on if I worked there. They'd be like, do you want to put on this buzzsaw?
Presumably the animatronic skeletons are in there, right? Isn't that the idea?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know anything.
Yeah. Oh, but anyway,
I don't know anything.
Yeah, so at the end, Brody goes to Freddy Fazbear's to rescue his sister, and then the cop who says that she was never going to help them comes back to help them because it turns out that the Fazbear guy is her father.
Yeah.
But she comes in to fight him, and then everybody gets stabbed and whatever, but then the day is saved because of the drawings. But then at the end, like there's been a bunch of people, like the security guard died at the start. Josh Hutchinson's aunt or whoever, she's dead.
Yeah.
But he's like, everything's worked out perfectly. Has it?
Wait, Josh Hutchinson's aunt died?
The woman with who wanted the kid.
Oh, did she get killed?
Yeah, one of the
in her house.
Yeah, one of the animatronics shows up at her house.
I do remember that.
Which makes me question again.
Did it catch a cab?
Why don't they just leave?
Did it catch a cab? It would have had to.
I don't know, I guess. With money from one of the arcade
coins,
machines, I guess.
Tokens.
Yeah, so they really, but I guess it's a kid's movie, basically. But like, we're just glossing over all these murders. You don't even put in a line where it's like, well, it turned out, all the evidence pointed to a thing, so I got off the hook. You'd assume.
Yeah.
This guy's in an ongoing legal battle with his aunt for custody of his little sister, and then she shows up dead, and he's covered in, like, cuts and scratches and whatever.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you killed her.
Yep.
And
that's probably true. It's not.
No.
But it's probably
true. It might
true.
be. Maybe this is all in his mind.
Yeah, he does like going to a dream palace.
Yeah. Also, there's a moment in this where the aunt wants to discredit this guy, get him fired from this job so she can take custody of the daughter. So she hires some local yokels to go in and smash up the pizza parlor.
Yeah.
And then the cop shows up on his doorstep the next day and is like, well, these guys got in and that's your fault. Wouldn't there just be like footage of him locking the door?
Yeah.
I reckon there would.
Well, there wasn't.
Wow, okay.
There's footage of everything else.
There is literally footage of the front door.
Also, was this
numerous
set in
times.
2001?
I don't know.
I think it was.
You reckon?
I think they said it at some point, or I saw a date.
Okay.
You see any cell phones of the modern era?
No, I don't remember.
When is Five Nights at Freddy's?
I'll save you some time, James. You just type in FNAF.
No.
The internet knows.
It's set in the early 2000s.
Early 2000s.
Anyway, let's move it along. What are we talking about?
What we're reading.
What are we going to read?
That's correct.
Maybe some people will be upset that we didn't hate it, but honestly, I don't care about Five Nights at Freddy's. So I don't.
Were it good or bad?
I don't care.
It
doesn't matter to me.
I liked the people involved, I guess.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
As I said, that got me over the line.
Yeah.
And it looked good, I thought. It's a good looking movie.
If there is a reveal, we see some behind the scenes stuff and most of the animatronics were CGI.
Oh, no.
I'd be like, well, good work.
Yeah.
They look pretty
Well,
impressive.
good work.
Yeah, good work.